Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Maximilian College Baseball Picks and Analysis for Saturday, February 7th. I'm your host, Max Hofmeyer, and I've got three marquee matchups to go over for today. But let's go ahead and recap last show, which was Thursday, a little 1-1, no damage, just a little juice. Maris Thunder gets home, and, thank God that was a blowout because it really slowed down late. But, based on the quality of shots taken in that one, we expected it to only be 62-62. So won that one and expected to win. And the Little Rock game was the loser. The SQ scores down, so I just pulled that off Google. But after that 1-1, we go ahead and move to 35-29 on the series. But so hopefully bounce back here on Saturday. And three great games we're going to be going over for today, which is kind of new. Usually I just kind of take whatever I'm seeing, but a bunch of good games for Saturday. So I do want to go ahead and hit on some of those big ones, especially because I was able to find some plays in those big games. So let's go ahead and jump in and start with one of the best rivalries in college basketball here. Duke, North Carolina. North Carolina's +5.5 here at home. UNC 6-3 in ACC play, which is pretty disappointing by their standards, especially when you would expect them to be closer to Duke, who is 10-0 in the conference. I think UNC has been pretty unlucky here, though, in conference play, which has caused them to underperform in that 6-3. The Tar Heels, they're allowing ACC opponents to shoot a ridiculous 41% in conference play from deep, which that's something that's really not sustainable, especially if you extrapolate those three losses. To SMU, who shot 52% from deep, Cal shot 54% from deep, and Stanford 57%. That's some pretty extreme shooting variance. And, of course, if Duke shoots 50% from deep, they will win. But, that's pretty unlikely, especially when you factor in Duke, not a great three-point shooting team. They're 34% of the year, which is 191st in the nation. And in conference play, they've been even worse, only shooting 31.6% from deep. So I would not expect, this game to be one of those North Carolina unlucky give up of 50% from deep kind of game here. From a viewing standpoint, though, can't wait to watch Boozer and Wilson here go at it, two of the most dominant bigs in the game. So it should be a fun one. Hopefully, they stay out of foul trouble. They'll be guarding each other a lot. So hopefully the refs let them play. Never like a ref show. But I think this line is just too respectful here. Assuming, Duke shoots around their season averages and nothing crazy here, I think there's too many points. So I'm going to go ahead and take North Carolina plus the 5.5 here for play number one. And for play number two, we got Michigan State, who is -1.5 here at home versus Illinois, looking to bounce back off back-to-back losses. The first loss, pretty respectable, obviously, losing to Michigan, nothing wrong with that. One of the best teams in the country. But pretty disappointing to follow it up with a Minnesota loss as 8.5-point favorites. So, Sparty looking to bounce back here, but Illinois is not the team they want to face, when you need to bounce back. Illinois' defense is elite at forcing tough shots. They rank second in the country in shot quality defensive shot selection, which that grades the quality of each attempt that a team allows on defense. And the only team that's better than Illinois at forcing those difficult shots is Michigan, who ranks first in defensive shot selection. And Sparty really struggled in that game against a team that's great at forcing tough shots. MSU shot 49% from two-pointer and 17% from deep in that Michigan game. As Sparty just doesn't really have the shot makers for these types of teams. Michigan State, though, they've made up for that all year with elite offensive rebounding, create some extra possessions. But just like the Michigan game, that will be negated here. Illinois, 18th nationally in defensive rebound rate. So just a bad matchup, I think. I know Sparty, they need a bounce back, but I just don't like this matchup at all. And I think MSU drops 3 straight here. So I'm going to go ahead and take Illinois plus the 1.5 for the second play. And for the last of our 3 marquee matchups is BYU, who is plus 1.5 here at home versus Houston. BYU, just like Michigan State, really need to bounce back desperately. They just lost 3 of their last 4 to move to a disappointing 5-4 in the Big 12. And, just like Illinois, Houston is not the team you want to play when your back's against the wall. BYU, they've been just very average here in conference play. 5th ranked offense and ninth ranked defense. And Kelvin Sampson teams, they excel at the possession battle. They have elite offensive rebounding. They take care of the ball at one of the highest rates in the country, and they force turnovers at one of the highest rates. So they just dominate that possession battle. So BYU's already at a disadvantage here because when you play a team like that that is going to get a lot of possessions, you have to be on your A game. And BYU, they have just not been on their A game of late. Nothing close to that. Especially their last one, dropping the Oklahoma State game, very concerning, giving up 99 points, including a 30-piece to Anthony Roy. And no disrespect to Anthony Roy, but if you can't stop him, good luck when Kingston Fleming is, coming to town. So for the final play, going to just go ahead and trust Kelvin Sampson here to do what he does best and win a Big 12 game. So going to go ahead and take Houston -1.5 here for the final play. And that will do it for today's episode. Thanks so much for watching. Go ahead and like and subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Best of luck and enjoy Saturday's mega slate.